They say America was built on dreams, but every dream worth chasing was forged in pain. From the soldiers who bled for freedom to the entrepreneurs who lost everything before changing the world, every story of greatness begins the same way, with struggle. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the fire that forges strength, the teacher that shapes character, the force that turns ordinary people into unstoppable leaders. In a world obsessed with comfort, those who dare to embrace pain don't just survive, they rise. Because in the end, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Pain is the path to why we bear pain power. Let me ask you something. Why do some people rise from the ashes while others stay stuck in their pain? Why do some use their suffering as fuel while others let it define them? The truth is, pain is a universal language. Every one of us has felt it, the heartbreak, the loss, the rejection, the failure. But here's what most people never realize. Pain isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had came after a breakdown. Every moment of power came from a moment of pressure. You grew not because life was easy, but because it was hard. Because something inside you refused to settle. We bear pain because deep down we know it's shaping us into something greater. We endure it because the version of us on the other side is stronger, wiser, unstoppable. Pain introduces you to your own strength, and once you've met that version of yourself, there's no going back. So if you're in pain right now, don't run from it. Lean into it, because this right here, right now, might just be the moment your power is being born. How to turn pain into power. Here's the truth. Pain by itself doesn't create power. It's what you do with that pain that defines you. Every human being faces pain, emotional, physical, or spiritual. But only a few turn that pain into fuel. Why? Because most people run from it. They numb it, avoid it, or blame it. They think pain is a signal to stop, when in reality, it's a signal to grow. See, pain is not the enemy, pain is feedback. It's the universe whispering, it's time to evolve. The moment you shift your meaning of pain from punishment to purpose, everything changes. That's the first step. Change your story about pain. When you see pain as something happening for you, not to you, you take back your power. The moment you make that shift, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the author of your life. Think about the legends of our time, athletes, innovators, leaders, change makers. None of them escaped pain. They faced rejection, humiliation, failure, and doubt. But they didn't let it define them. They used it. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. That pain drove him to become the greatest player of all time. Oprah faced abuse and trauma. That pain became the foundation for her purpose to heal others. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and came out not bitter, but powerful, ready to unite a nation. They didn't let pain break them. They let it build them. So how do you turn pain into power? There are 3 key shifts, 3 decisions that will redefine how you experience life forever. Change your meaning. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. The difference lies in meaning. If you see pain as a curse, it will crush you. But if you see it as a teacher, it will transform you. Every painful moment carries a lesson about who you are, what you value, and what you're capable of. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? Maybe it's showing you where you've been settling. Maybe it's pushing you to grow, to step up, to love yourself more deeply. When you assign an empowering meaning to your pain, it becomes fuel. Because meaning equals emotion, and emotion drives action. Use pain as leverage. Here's the secret. Pain can push you further than pleasure ever will. We don't change when we're comfortable, we change when we're uncomfortable. The moment the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, transformation begins. Think about the turning points in your life. You didn't move because things were easy. You moved because something hurt too much to ignore. That's leverage. That's life pushing you to act. So instead of resisting pain, use it. Let it remind you that you deserve more love, more health, more fulfillment. Let that burning in your chest be the signal that you're meant for something greater. When you use pain as leverage, it stops being a prison. It becomes propulsion. Turn your wounds into wisdom. True power comes when you stop hiding your pain and start sharing it. Your wounds are not weaknesses, they're your credentials. They're the proof that you've survived, that you've learned, that you've grown. The greatest leaders don't lead because they're perfect. They lead because they've been through the fire and came out forged in strength. When you use your pain to help others heal, you transform it into purpose. You give meaning to what you endured. That's how pain turns into power, when it stops being about you and starts being about something bigger than you. So ask yourself, how can my pain serve others? Maybe your struggle with loss helps someone else find hope. Maybe your battle with failure inspires someone to keep going. The moment you use your story to lift someone else, your pain becomes your power. Now here's the most important part. Pain never leaves your life, but it changes its role. In the beginning, pain controls you. Then you fight it. Then you learn from it. And finally, you thank it. Because you realize pain was never there to hurt you, it was there to wake you up. When you stop fearing pain, you become unstoppable. When you embrace it, you access a level of strength most people never touch. You become the kind of person who can walk through the fire and still stand tall, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So the next time life hits you hard, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this trying to make me become? Because that's the question of a warrior. That's the mindset of someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Pain is power in disguise. It's the greatest sculptor of human potential. And when you learn to use it, not escape it, there's nothing you can't achieve. Remember, diamonds are born under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. And greatness is born in pain. So step into your pain. Feel it. Face it. Use it. Because this right here is where your power begins. Living in power, becoming unbreakable. You've faced the fire. You've walked through the storm. You've learned to turn pain into power. Now comes the next evolution, living in that power. Because transformation isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to rise above circumstances, to stay grounded in strength no matter what life throws your way. Living in power doesn't mean you never fall again. It means you rise faster every time you do. It means you've built something inside yourself that no one can take away, a kind of inner armor forged in truth, resilience, and purpose. When you live in power, you don't chase control over life, you master control over yourself. You don't ask for life to get easier, you demand that you get stronger. Because unbreakable people aren't born. They're built one choice, one challenge, one comeback at a time. The foundation of the unbreakable mind. Becoming unbreakable starts with a mindset, a way of seeing the world that transforms every obstacle into opportunity. The unbreakable don't deny pain, they redefine it. They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I create from this? They know storms don't come to destroy them, they come to reveal them. Pressure doesn't expose weakness, it exposes strength. Adversity isn't punishment, it's promotion. The unbreakable mind lives by one unshakable truth. Life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you're willing to become. So every challenge becomes training, every setback becomes data, every failure becomes feedback. You stop taking pain personally and start taking it powerfully. That's the mindset shift that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Emotional mastery, power over the storm within. Here's the reality. The strongest battles are rarely outside, they're inside. Fear, doubt, anxiety, anger, those are the real opponents. But when you learn to master your emotions, you stop being a victim of how you feel and start being a creator of how you live. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you no longer let pain make your decisions. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel doubt and still take action. You can feel pressure and still perform. That's what separates champions from the crowd. Not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. Every time you breathe through the chaos instead of reacting to it, you build power. Every time you choose purpose over panic, strength over struggle, you expand what's possible for you. That's emotional intelligence at its highest level, the ability to stay grounded in who you are, even when the world shakes around you. The anchor of power. You can have strength, you can have skill, but without purpose, you'll still feel lost. Purpose is what gives your pain meaning. It's what turns struggle into strategy and hardship into hunger. When you know why you're fighting, You can endure almost anyhow. Purpose keeps you moving when motivation fades. It reminds you that your life isn't just about surviving, it's about serving. It's about leaving the world better than you found it. Living in power means living for something bigger than yourself. Because when your vision is greater than your pain, your purpose becomes unstoppable. That's when you move from success to significance, from achievement to impact. Ask yourself, what's the mission behind my pain? Maybe your purpose is to lift others, to lead, to heal, to build, to inspire. Whatever it is, when you align your actions with that calling, you stop chasing power, you become it. The art of the comeback. There's a reason unbreakable people seem fearless. It's not that they never fall, it's that they always rise. They've made peace with failure. They've turned rejection into redirection. They don't see a setback as the end, they see it as the edit before the masterpiece. Resilience is built through repetition, through falling, learning, adapting, and rising again. It's the quiet courage to keep going when no one's watching. It's the decision to believe in possibility even when everything looks impossible. Every time you get back up, you rewire your identity. You prove to yourself that no circumstance can define you, only your choices can. That's how you become unbreakable, not by avoiding the fall, but by owning the rise. Living in power. When you live in power, life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. You stop waiting for perfect moments and start creating them. You stop seeing pain as a threat and start seeing it as a tool. Your past stops being a prison and becomes a platform. Your scars stop being shame and start being symbols of strength. You no longer need validation because you found liberation. You walk differently. You speak differently. There's a calm confidence about you, not because you've avoided the fire, but because you've walked through it and realized it can't burn your spirit. Living in power means you've reached the point where pain no longer controls you, it serves you. Fear no longer stops you, it fuels you. And life no longer breaks you, it builds you. Because you've discovered the truth. You were never meant to be comfortable. You were meant to be capable. You were meant to be courageous. You were meant to be unbreakable. So stand tall, own your story, carry your scars like medals. Because the fire that tried to destroy you has now become the light that guides you. And from this moment on, you don't just live, you live in power. The unstoppable life building legacy through power. You've faced pain, you've risen through struggle, you've discovered your power. Now comes the highest calling of all, to live an unstoppable life, a life of impact, integrity, and legacy. Because power isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning of responsibility. It's what you do with your strength that defines the story you'll leave behind. An unstoppable life isn't about never falling, it's about never staying down. It's about using everything you've learned, every scar, every victory, every lesson to shape a future that outlives you. This is what separates those who shine for a moment from those who light up generations. The unstoppable don't just chase success, they create significance. They don't just live for now, they live for what comes after. The legacy mindset. Legacy isn't something you leave behind when you're gone, it's something you build every day while you're here. It's not carved in stone, it's written in lives. Every word you speak, every choice you make, every person you lift, that's your legacy taking shape. The unstoppable understand that power without purpose is empty. They use their strength to serve, their story to inspire, and their success to empower others. They know the ultimate victory isn't what you get, it's what you give. Your legacy isn't measured by titles or trophies. It's measured by transformation, by how many people are better because you existed. That's the mark of the truly unstoppable. Ask yourself, if I walked away today, what would my life stand for? Would it tell the story of someone who chased comfort or someone who created change? Because legacy isn't built by chance. It's built by choice, the daily choice to live with intention and impact. Vision beyond self. To build an unstoppable life, your vision has to be bigger than your ego. The moment your mission expands beyond personal gain, you step into greatness. Every world changer started with one question: how can I serve? Because real power doesn't dominate, it elevates. It doesn't silence others, it amplifies them. It doesn't stand above people, it stands for them. When your vision becomes about lifting others, your influence multiplies. When you stop living for applause and start living for purpose, your presence becomes unstoppable. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and builders didn't chase fame, they chased meaning. They built something that mattered, something that endured. And that's what the unstoppable do. They don't just live in power, they build through it. The ripple effect of power. Every action you take sends ripples through the world. One act of courage can ignite 1,000 hearts. One voice of truth can break generations of silence. One decision to rise can inspire others to do the same. That's the ripple effect of power, when your light gives permission for others to shine. Think about it. The person you become teaches the world what's possible. Your resilience becomes a roadmap for someone else's recovery. Your strength becomes a mirror that shows others their own potential. So live like someone's watching, because they are. A child, a friend, a stranger, someone out there is waiting for proof that strength still exists, that hope still wins. Be that proof. Be that reminder. That's how you build legacy, not through perfection, but through presence. The discipline of greatness. Unstoppable doesn't mean reckless, it means relentless. And the bridge between power and legacy is discipline. Discipline is choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. It's waking up early when comfort whispers sleep. It's staying true to your vision when doubt shouts quit. It's showing up, especially when it's hard. Because consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds legacy. The unstoppable don't wait for the right mood, they build the right mindset. They know that success isn't built in moments of excitement, but in hours of effort. Each small act of discipline becomes a brick in the foundation of something eternal. So guard your habits, protect your focus, honor your word. Because greatness isn't a gift, it's a practice. Freedom through service. Here's the paradox of power. The more you give it away, the stronger it becomes. The more you serve, the freer you feel. Because true freedom isn't found in what you can take, it's found in what you can contribute. The unstoppable don't live to impress, they live to impact. They know life's greatest fulfillment doesn't come from being admired, it comes from being of service. They build businesses that empower. They tell stories that heal. They create movements that awaken hearts. When you use your power to lift others, your influence outlives your name. That's legacy. That's immortality of the soul. The eternal flame. In the end, life will test you again and again, not to punish you, but to prove you. Every challenge is an invitation to rise higher, to refine your purpose, to expand your reach. Living an unstoppable life means walking in alignment with your values, your vision, your voice. It means living so fully, so authentically, that your energy echoes long after you're gone. Because one day, your body will rest, but your impact will not. Your words will still move hearts. Your courage will still ignite minds. Your example will still whisper to the next generation, keep going. That's the legacy of the unstoppable. Not a life free of pain, but a life full of purpose. Not a life of comfort, but a life of contribution. Not a life that fades, but a life that fires others to rise. Becoming the legacy. So here you are, forged in pain, strengthened in purpose, awakened in power. You've walked through the flames and discovered that the fire wasn't there to destroy you, it was there to reveal you. Now, you don't just carry power, you are power. You don't just live, you lead. You don't just exist, you elevate. Because the unstoppable don't wait for history to remember them. They write history every single day with courage, compassion, and conviction. So live loud, love deeply, serve boldly. And when your story is told, let them say this: you faced the pain. You found the power, and you built a legacy that time could never erase. That is the unstoppable life. Stand tall. Face the storm. Own your scars. They're the map of your becoming. You've walked through pain, turned it into power, and forged yourself into something unbreakable. Now go live loud, love fiercely, lead fearlessly. Because you are no longer the person who survived the fire. You are the one who became it.